Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome to our podcast for the day. I am super stoked to be introducing ApesTogetherStrongDoc brothers for joining us today to talk about their project. I am super stoked to let the whole community know what you guys are working on. First introductions, we have Sharkbait here, Rogue, and the Indian guy who has recently renamed his name to Tech Support. And me, Kenna. Lady will be joining us here very shortly to kick us off, though. I believe Rogue will be taking the stage today.
All right. How's it going, guys?
Good.
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Just been researching a lot, but we are waiting on Lady.
I'm
You guys wanna
here.
get
I'm so
started?
sorry. I had, of course, technical difficulties, right? Right at the start of everything. Thank you guys so much for joining us today on the Bull House. Finn Mulligan and Quinn Mulligan, the Mulligan brothers, who are picking up steam with this whole Apes Together Strong documentary. We're very excited that you're here, and we're very excited about your creation. I guess really just the first kind of question that we have is, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, your background, obviously what you do, and basically what's your story?
Okay. This is Finley speaking, by the way. We are twin brothers from Portland, Oregon. Spent our whole lives trying to make, music and art and film in some way, shape, or form. And Finley, I split off from my brother after college and started doing more film-oriented work and ended up at a place called Leica, where we make stop-motion movies. Won the Golden Globe for Missing Link, which is our most recent, but also made things like Coraline, Paranorman, Kubo and the Two Strings, Box Trolls, that sort of thing. So my current job is I run their shooting floor, which is the largest and most complicated stop-motion shooting floor in the world. It's a crazy task, but it's fun, and being around all those creative people is incredible. But I'm in production management, so I don't get my creative jollies off there quite as much as I'd like to. So I do that outside of work with my brother, doing nonprofit short-form documentary work for businesses around town, and then short films on our own to have fun. And then Quinn, I have been a musician playing around Portland since it's probably about 15. Just kind of started and never stopped doing it. I've had a chance to tour and record a lot, playing with my band Fano Creek as well. So a lot of music, a lot of film work with my brother as well over the years. So, we'll link to my brother's music in the chat. Is there a chat we can type shit if we want?
Oh, for sure. You can, if you look right above the Trade Talk stage and it says Trade Talk Chat, in that channel, you can post anything in there.
Nice. I'm always trying to promote my bro, so I'm just gonna drop his music in there too.
Absolutely. And for our listeners who are listening in right now, if you guys want to ask a question, we ask that you just, for the moment, go ahead and do @staff in the same channel there, Trade Talk Chat, and we'll catch it, and maybe at the end we'll be able to answer some of those questions and maybe even invite a couple speakers up. So, all right.
That's us in a nutshell, I guess.
Well, thank you guys. You were quite accomplished at such a young age. That's amazing. I actually told my husband, I'm like, hey, these guys are coming on. And he was so excited. He's like, they did the animated one. And I'm like, I know them now. We're friends on Twitter.
No big deal.
It was awesome.
We're not so special.
Yeah. So we have another question here. I think Sharkbake is going to go ahead and take over for that.
Yeah, once again, thank you so much, guys, for putting all of this together. It's a little bit after my own heart here, as we've seen so many screwed up things being claimed about, this entire community, which doesn't really represent reality, we'll say. And so my question for you guys is, as we understand, mainstream media has been a really large component of spreading potentially wrong data about what the reality of things are. Do you guys feel that this documentary will help combat the war of misinformation?
Absolutely. I think a big part of why we started doing this documentary was exactly that. We were watching, of course, we were involved in what was happening in January. When everything got shut down, it was extremely frustrating for us to hear how our fellow investors were being spoken about. They were calling us not only dumb money, but saying that we were manipulating the market and all this other pretty strong accusations that were just not true. And on top of all that, you have websites like MarketWatch posting articles. Like today, they posted an article this morning saying, GME is never going to go up today. It's only going to go sideways or something to that effect. Then, of course, it's gone up quite a bit today. So I don't know. There's a lot of attempts by mass media to diminish the potential to downgrade us and discount us. A lot of straw man arguments, and it's extremely frustrating. Yeah, I mean, the one that really pissed me off was to hear them start to blame retail for the situation that we find ourselves in, which is extremely frustrating given the fact that buying and holding has like always been what they tell you to do, right? And then when a huge count of people end up buying and holding, all of a sudden they're to blame for the market, the high frothy market or volatility, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's disgusting. And a lot of these media companies are straight up owned by some of the same institutions that we're fighting against. So, yep, that is going to be a big part of the doc.
Right on. Yeah, so I mean, I guess you guys kind of answer my next question here, but it's ultimately, do you feel that the wisdom of the crowd and everything that people are doing across all these different subreddits, discords, and so on, has this resulted in something more positive or harmful ultimately? And will this have a long-term effect, do you think?
So we completely believe that there's a real life David and Goliath story happening right now. As we speak, there's millions of people all over the world taking part for the first time in the stock market. And these people are coming together in community spaces, YouTube, Reddit, whatever, like they're digital town squares, and they're sharing information and working together to educate each other. So I fully believe that we're in a paradigm shift, and the cat's out of the bag. It's not going back in the bag. And the way that Wall Street has been working will need to change to account for this boom of people flooding the market who typically have seen it as something that's not for them.
Right on. Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. That's what I think we're all looking forward to, be like the message, right? Getting out there. So the GameStop saga has been documented in many different ways. Since January, we've seen like media and just like things on like Hulu and that kind of stuff. Can you tell us what makes ApesTogetherStrongDoc different and how it will stand out from the others?
Yeah, so I think that for us, one of the most interesting parts of this whole thing has been the community that's developed around it and the support that this community has for one another. So for us, before even making this film, we were part of that community. We're apes, and everything that's happened to this community has happened to us as well. So we have a personal connection to it, and we feel that our skill set happens to lie in this, in the film world, and that's creating something. This is the way that we can help, So yeah, everyone's got their role to play, and we just decided, screw it. Let's use what we have to do what we can to kind of, play our own role in this whole saga. But the difference between our film and the others out there is that we're going to be doing it from the community, engaging with the community as we have been, and dedicated to telling the truth about what's happening. Netflix, I'm sure, they'll make a great documentary, but it won't be your documentary.
Well put. Thank you.
Yeah. That's amazing. So,
hell yeah.
Hey guys, how you guys doing? First of all, thanks for coming on. So
Yeah,
here
no worries.
have you learned anything surprising or interesting with your interviews from fellow apes? And if so, what is it?
You gotta watch the documentary, man.
Oh man, no spoiler.
No, like we've the biggest thing that we've done so far is collected stories from people. So as for like goodies and interesting stuff for interviews, like we have talked to a few people like David Lauer and others, but most of what we've been working on is hearing from all of you. So the biggest revelation so far, like honestly, it's hard to watch all these submission videos because they're so heartfelt, and everybody in some degree has jumped onto this rocket because they want a way out of the grind, more or less. And hearing everybody's stories and how truly selfless a lot of these people are, like they're not asking for much. They want to be able to afford insulin for their kids, they want to be able to have a house. These aren't crazy asks. to not want to worry about rent is a pretty basic thing, you know. A lot of these folks don't want to have to look a month into the future and see in obscurity. They want to know what's going to happen in their life. So we're getting a lot of that, and seeing how common this issue is across every group that we're seeing represented in the people that have submitted is pretty telling for the status of our world.
Well, honestly, that's beautifully said, and I can't wait for the film. It's gonna be amazing.
Nice. No pressure.
No pressure at all. You guys are great.